Blue, the feeling behind my eyes.
Hello.
Hello.
For our first question, it's why did you start teaching?
Well, as I was just mentioning to you, I had another career when I got out of college. I was a New York State Supreme Court officer, and I did that for 11 years. My last assignment in the courts, I was the warden to the Manhattan Homicide Grand Jury. And I left New York City shortly in 1984 and moved to Richmond, Virginia. And that's where I started teaching and went to Virginia Commonwealth University to get my master's as a reading specialist.
That's cool, yeah.
That's what I'm, that's my professional background. I'm a reading specialist, and a writing specialist.
Right. I remember you used to tell us in freshman year about like the stories and stuff. What made you go into teaching though? When was the moment that you decided maybe this isn't for me and I would rather?
Well, I had always thought that I was overqualified when I was in law enforcement.
Right.
And I had always thought in the back of my mind, maybe I would go into teaching.
Right.
And when I moved out of New York City, the opportunity arose itself. And to tell you the truth, I needed the job.
Right.
And I grew into the job.
Cool. And what would you say is the hardest part about teaching?
It's all different. For me today, the hardest part of teaching is my commute.
Right.
Getting here. Once I'm here, my job is pretty easy. When I was a young teacher, I had never really stood in front of a large crowd of people and spoke.
Yeah.
And I didn't teach. I didn't go to student teaching. I didn't do student teaching. It was like one day I was not a teacher, next day I was, with no training. So I had to teach myself how to speak in front of large groups of people and how to get my lessons across and things like that.
What would you say is the best part about teaching, or what do you really enjoy about teaching?
Well, you guys are the best part of teaching. And in fact, today I was walking to the subway and I hear, "Mr. Scourby," and there's a guy on a bike and he stops and I turn and it was somebody who I taught 7 years ago. And he's graduated now, and we stopped and we chatted and hugged and everything. So, I'm thinking, like I'm walking to work and I'm thinking, wow, what a nice morning, that this young person, 22 or 23 years old now, will stop and say hello to me, which happens often. But it was, he was one of my favorite people, so it was very special. But working with young people and helping you guys to navigate adulthood is probably the most rewarding thing that I've done.
Well, we love your teaching as well.
Well, thank you.
What are some of your hobbies?
Besides running.
Yes, I mean, we all know, but you could
Besides running. Well, I'm a cook.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I write. I used to write for an online magazine, and you can still go read those articles at borderlessnewsandviews.com, I think it is. But I cook, I garden. Now that I live in an apartment, I do a lot of indoor gardening, you know.
And how's that going?
Growing plants and making them look nice and grow well. Yeah, it's all part of me, you know. I like the arts. You know, I'm not an artist. I do like taking pictures, you know, using a camera and things like that. But I'm not an artist when it comes to drawing or anything like that. But I know what I like, and I like being around, you know, artwork and artists. They're fun people to be around.
That's cool. And what would be your ultimate breakfast?
My ultimate what?
Breakfast.
Breakfast?
Yes.
My ultimate breakfast. I don't know. Probably, you know, something to do with eggs and waffles and syrup and things like that.
Are you do you like sugary stuff or no?
You know, it turns out that I have noticed over the years that I do have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for our last question, what is one piece of advice that you could give to an Origins High School student?
Don't get caught up into things. You know, be your own person, and don't let anybody talk you into something that you really don't want to do. You know, whether it be, you know, something that that you need to learn on your own, and a lot of teenagers get caught up into, I'm going to do something because of somebody else and not because of what they really want to do. And then it could be even not just other students, but also their parents.
Right.
You know, when you go to college, you're going to do this. You know, a lot of parents are like that.
Yeah.
You know, they're very, you know, in their ways, and it's hard to navigate, especially for teenagers. You guys are all you're going to be going to college next year.
Yeah.
You know, you're adults. You know. And that's the other thing I like, especially working with seniors like yourself, is that we can have adult conversations,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and we can share ideas, and we're equal, right?
Yeah.
We're equal at that point.
And that's it. Thank you so much. That was very good advice.
Thank you.
I will keep that in mind.
It's with